Business News now with Nona Peltier. Nona, let's talk about Trustpower, Tauranga-based Trustpower. What is it up to in terms of its retail business?
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot more demands on some of these big power companies to move towards renewable power. And that's in line with the government's initiative to go to 100% renewable by 2030. This is not going to be an easy order for some of these generators, including Trustpower. So they're looking at whether or not they really need to hang on to that retail business that they've got. So they've got somewhat like 231,000 customers at the moment. These customers include not just power, but also broadband services, for example. And a number of their customers are based, of course, in the Western Bay of Plenty. They get a rebate from the trust that has about a 26% share in Trustpower. If those customers are no longer Trustpower's customers, it remains to be seen where that dividend comes from and or is handed out to those consumers. So it raises a lot of questions for some of the shareholders, being, of course, the consumer trust, as well as, big one for the industry who wants to buy Trustpower's retail business, their 230,000 customers. So this is a review. It's going to take a few months to undertake, but we're going to see some shakeups in that in the energy sector because of what's happening. One of the other things that's going on right now is a review of our natural gas supply and security. So there's a big review taking place, not just in one area of energy, but in others too.
Okay. Now, New Zealand's response to the pandemic has kind of made it a favourable target for merger and acquisitions, you're telling me. Why is that?
Yeah, interesting. So the perception is that New Zealand has done better than most countries in handling the pandemic, and that business is as usual. I don't know that everyone would agree with that. Certainly if you're in the tourism sector, you might not. Right. However, a lot of other businesses are doing, normal business activity, and investors have taken note, and the phones are ringing hot in lawyers and all sorts that deal with the buy and sell of businesses, large and small. So there's demand for small businesses from, New Zealanders who are returning, wanting to find something that's going to turn a dollar for them because they may not be able to find a job. Others are bigger investors, institutional investors looking for opportunities, and they can be of any size. Now, that's quite interesting because at the same time, there's also likely to be an increase in the number of initial public offerings coming to the market. That's the share market. So, for example, My Food Bag has signaled that it wants to come to the market, and they may not be the only ones, according to Minter Ellison Rudd-Watt, who's done the report for, is that right? I did. Minter Ellison Rudd-Watts.
Yep,
I forgot the S at the end. I got to correct myself there. And never mind. They have done this report every year, and so they're saying that their inside information says there's lots of things on the pipeline.
Okay. What has been going on in the markets today then?
Okay, so you may have heard in the news just before that our market ended down just over 2%, nearly 2.2% as a matter of fact. That's 142 points down to 13,086 points. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but mostly it has to do with the pandemic and uncertainty there. And that is the same story with the dollar. So the U.S. Federal Reserve is certainly holding steady on its current interest rates. And so we are sitting at 71.4 U.S. cents. Yesterday we were at 72.4. So there you go, a whole cent down. 93.6 Australian and 52.2 pence, which is more or less steady where we were yesterday.
Yeah. Thanks, Nona. Nona Peltier with our business news there.